All right, everybody, welcome back to Alexander's Approach Podcast. We here. We got some guests with us.
Yes, we do.
What's up? What's up?
Our people.
It's family.
It's family.
Lion champs today, baby. Let's go.
Family across the board. Family across the board.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yes. I get the popcorn ready,
Get the tea ready.
Get comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah. So, good time.
Before we get into the topic, let's just introduce who we have here. So, before they introduce themselves, they're both our ship. So, super dope. My ship, and then Charles' ship, and they both 7 clubs.
Yeah, as in Lion Brother and Lion Sister, for those who know what ship is.
Yeah. Oh, my bad.
Right.
He always got you.
Shout out to the 7
clubs.
Shout out to the 7 clubs. Shout out to the Trey clubs.
Yeah.
But y'all want to start by introducing yourself?
All right.
So my name is Rico Jackson, aka DJ Messiah.
Hey,
you
better.
AKA
DJ Messiah.
Yeah, make sure you check me out on Mixcloud and Instagram, DJ Messiah. Summer, spring about to break. Book me. I'm ready.
I ain't gonna lie, DJ Messiah.
Bro catalog on point.
He said the dopest mixes.
He does.
If you don't get his mixes, how can they sign up for the mixes that you send? Social media?
Download Mixcloud. It's free. And then search me and follow me on DJ Messiah. Anytime I upload something, it's gonna automatically come to your phone as notification, and you can always be in tune when I put something up. So
that's a subscription life.
Real talk. But he definitely got that fire. So make sure y'all do that.
Check me out.
And also we have.
Look, I'm not no DJ or nothing like that. Look, I'm straight corporate America, but I'm
Career woman.
I'm a working woman.
Yeah, you want to shout your Instagram or anything? Or?
So_resilient.
And your name is what?
I said Layla.
Oh, I ain't hear you. Okay. Hey, shit.
Yeah.
Hey, girl.
Damn.
All right, so we getting right into it. We want to talk about all the things that go into co-parenting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Both Lila and Rico, they have situations in terms of co-parenting. And Lila
Inexperiences.
Inexperiences, yes. Lila is kind of new to the co-parenting game.
Yes.
Rico is pretty experienced.
Okay.
3-time vet. Okay.
I'm on 17
I'm
years.
a 3-time champ.
17 years in almost.
Right.
It's actually crazy that you have a 17-year-old though.
It is.
That's really
It
crazy.
is.
Yeah,
It's real
Look
wild.
good.
That make you feel old. I know it make you feel old, but yeah.
No, I just think we started late. We
We
started
did.
really late.
No,
I'm gonna say late. I'm
I
gonna say we started.
started too early. Okay, that's what I think.
But sometimes I think we started late because it's now you get to grow up with your kids. Your 17-year-old, you still young enough to when he turned 21,
What?
25.
41. We from the parlay.
Exactly.
Versus
Versus
us being 60 and
Right. We still gonna kick it at 60. Don't get it
definitely
twisted.
gonna
Oh, wow.
We go. Where's the will, there's a way.
I hear you.
Take it to the strip club. You like it?
Stop it.
See.
Hey, you're not though.
I was
You're not playing.
Differences
Yes.
in co-parenting
Yes.
styles. Differences
Right.
in co-parenting styles.
So yeah, let's just start off with just talking about y'all's journey so
Yes.
far. Maybe Lila start us off so you kind of new in the game. Has been so far. The glows and the grows areas you need.
Yes.
But yeah, just talk to us.
So as of right now, I have to say it is currently right now it's kind of in shambles, right? So we kind of trying to figure out this whole co-parenting thing.
It'd be like that, right?
For a bunch of different reasons though, right? So our co-parenting styles we are now learning are super different, especially as he get older, right? Mm-hmm. So in the beginning stages, typically the mother is always kind of the person where you shit, I'm gonna let her have it because it's mommy, right?
Yeah.
Then as the child get older, you kind of daddy step in and he I want to do X, Y, and Z. But from a parenting standpoint, a mother standpoint, you kind of guard it a little bit and you kind of defensive because you this is my baby. And we want it to be we want the best for him. And not that men don't want it, but men are not nurturers like women are, right? So naturally we go into super protective mode.
Right.
And especially when you have a boy, right? So I have a boy and it's nah, he needs to be a man. I'm nah, he too.
He's 2.
He's 2.
Yeah.
So then we get into this whole differences of how do you treat a 2-year-old versus how do you treat somebody who you trying to make him grow up? And then part of it is because of the traumas that we went through as kids, and you well shit, I turned out okay, and you and I'm yeah, we don't have to do none of that though. This is the time where we get to kind of do it how we want to do it.
Yeah.
It ain't even about doing it like anybody else did. It's what do we want? But then that takes for us to communicate, and sometimes that's hard because you used to being you, I'm used to being me.
Yeah.
And I think another part of it was like when we went into it, initially we thought we were going to be together, and then we turned out not to be together. That throws a huge monkey wrench in the game, because now when we together, we kind of like trying to figure things out. We talking them through. We doing, whatever. When you separate, it's like you doing you over here, I'm doing me over here. And we trying to come in the middle and figure that thing out. So right now, it's ongoing. Like we are legit in the process right now of trying to figure out like how do we successfully co-parent.
Yeah.
So you said right now y'all not together.
Yeah.
So when y'all had y'all baby, we all together first?
Crazy. So I don't think anybody like really know this part of the story, right?
Okay.
Like we legit like broke up, I'm gonna say a month after I got pregnant. Right? So which is like super deep, because most people be like, you you going through a whole pregnancy single pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Like, and we trying to like, it's COVID, right? That's number one. So we isolated I'm isolated from the world, right? Because I'm carrying.
Mm-hmm.
He newly single, right? So he like figuring himself out. He about to be a father. He's still trying to, figure out
the best life.
Is he dating,
whatever.
And I'm in the house like trying to figure out how life is about to change for me as a mother, but how am I gonna protect my child from this huge virus that's going on, right? So it's like,
I got it. I actually, because you never experienced having a child with his father, because I was gonna ask you a difference with the two.
The crazy thing, somebody asked me the other day, and I was kind of like explaining the situation that we are in, and it was like, Jackson was kind of like making us fight. Like he had these two action figures, and he was like, Mama, Dada, and he was like making us fight, right? And so the question was posed to me like, has he ever seen y'all like hug or kiss? And I'm like, damn, my baby too, and he's never seen us hug or kiss, because he's never seen us together.
Embrace each other.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's deep.
It's super deep. Super deep.
All right,
That's a tough
we gotta come
situation.
back to some of that, but
That's really tough
Rick,
shit.
talk to us, man.
All right. So the question is how my co-parenting journey is, right? So my journey started off rough, right? It started off very rough. I became a father at 20 years old for the first time, and then going into it, I wasn't trying to be a father intentionally, but I was out having fun, living my best life in the situation. When it came up, I felt like going into after the baby was born, I knew I was gonna step up and be there for my kid. Like I knew I was gonna do that no matter what happened in the scenario with us. But I felt like we just clashed a lot because we had personal feelings involved with each other. Sometimes when relationships don't work out, you hold on to the what ifs and why didn't it happen, and then you don't think the child is a tool in it, but subconsciously the child becomes a tool to a degree, right?
Sure.
And don't get me wrong, like even after having a kid, I think sex sometimes blurs the lines, and I think that was my biggest problem. Like still having sex off and on, and after it blurs the whole essence of co-parenting, because what happens is if you go do it as a man with her,
what happens after that?
What happens after is like, and even if she was like remotely getting over you, like now she's back there, and that picture is always still painted. I don't care what they tell you. Like if they really liked you, like if you had a kid with somebody,
when consciously going to a decision like to have a child, like it's something there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And my situation weren't like we wasn't like liking each other. Like we really were into each other, like vibing type stuff. So that clash of character was an issue, but also I was 20. So me being so young.
That's young.
Yeah,
that's very young.
Like you still in college.
I was in college.
Not even
21 yet. After you crossed though, because he was 19, right?
Yeah. I was 19 when I got the news, and then I was born. I was 20.
Wait, when did you cross as an alpha?
2006.
Yeah, I was 6.
And you had your son.
You had your son when?
My son was born 2006. October 2006.
Ooh, that's not good.
Wow. So you was out. You were out there.
So let me tell you this then. So when I knew this happened, being new Greek on college campus, second year in school, I told her I'm going to go do this at school. Yeah. Like I told her, like I'm going to talk to other women. I'm going to do me.
She was pregnant at this time?
Yeah.
So you like legit about to leave her though. New mom, you about to leave me and go away to college.
Well, I was already in school. She got pregnant while I was in school.
He was in college, yeah,
I was in school. She lived in Chicago.
That is a very tough.
She lived in Chicago.
Well, I lived in Carbondale with you.
No. So my kid's mother, my first child's mother is older than me by 5 years. So
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so she was here.
Sugar
Brown.
Sugar.
She was working her career, had her job, been finished with
So
school.
her life
I
was
can
a little
only
different than
imagine.
yours.
Yeah, so I think that's what kind of made the issues happen more.
Yeah.
So she expected that age range, that
That's
type
how
of
She wanted
accountability
to come from me,
Yeah.
and I wasn't
Just
there.
get started.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
not
But
at all.
I have an old soul, so I think that's what the attraction portion was. But
That's what got.
What's up, man, bro?
I'm so tired of being like, I
I
have an old soul.
I'm a little old school.
I ain't gonna lie, Rico. I always felt like you had an old
But you
soul.
know what?
See, that's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
crazy. The both of us are kind of like.
No, my shit. This is the old soul ship too. So like all the old songs. I wanna thank you. That's her.
That's me too.
All the suits, the Steve Harvey suits. That was you.
that was me
So
back
it's
in
like,
the day. Don't
y'all
see me
both
no
have
stage.
old souls.
That means we love us. That's all we like. We
You
real
stay with the
Seasoned,
lovers.
mature
Steve
love.
Harvey joints.
Yeah, but I just think that that kind of made it real rough for us. So then we had to learn how to. You have to have good negotiation skills. I feel like, right? So because when a mother's in the household and she has,
Negotiation. That's an interesting word to use.
I said because if you're not in the house with the child, the mother is really like the head figure, right? So the kid don't know no better besides of the mother. That's what they see the most. They like their father. They feel a bond with him.
Yeah.
But they don't really know mother is the end all be all, right?
Yeah.
So when you have them come to visit you or be with you, they like you secondary.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
what's-
I'm asking mom
So,
first.
so to the kid, you are the of the parent. You know, you're the co-parent in a sense.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was deep.
Because you think about it, when you have a young kid, the mother is basically the representation for the child.
Yeah.
It's like if I go to court and it's a lawyer, the lawyer.
Oh, we know what that's gonna be.
The lawyer.
Let's not do that.
But I'm
Let's
just,
not
no,
do that.
but I'm just saying, no, not over the child. But I'm just saying, if I go to court, the lawyer has to speak for me. That's the same thing when you have a new child. The mother has to speak for the child until the child can verbally speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And most mothers hold on to being that. So sometimes that takes away the essence of you trying to be this father and this jump-in figure. You're not there leading her household.
Yeah.
So she's not going to view you in a manner of leadership even if you did have the child.
Yeah.
But we don't naturally we don't want to be in the position where it's I'm in control, but naturally because
You just jump to that.
we
right?
do it,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm
And
saying.
it's like, so for example, like as a mother, I'm probably going to be the person that like figure out what school he's gonna go to. Like we may talk about it,
right.
but I'm gonna initiate the
And make that
conversation like it's
decision.
time to put him in school.
So that's a problem for me because the thing is, you should. If I'm the father and this child has half your genes, half my genes, like I still should be consulted to it.
No. So I'm saying like when the initial conversation of like I think it's time to put him in school, right?
Right.
Most of the time, those initial conversations come from a mother because
Or who the child is with at least.
because we know like okay, look, he running around, he going crazy. At this time, it's time for him to get social. It's time to get him for him to
Okay,
get
well make sure he goes
So
to
now
public
because-
school. Don't choose private school.
See, now we going into something totally different.
But the essence of co-parenting. If you say you make a decision, you can make a decision and say, I want to put
That's
him in this
true.
school.
Open the
Tuition,
Catholics,
but
private
tuition is
school.
$3,000 a month.
Yeah.
But if you say, yo, your daddy has to help me with this, did you consult me to
now I
see
get
if
that.
that's in my
I
range?
get that.
So that's why I say, like, that's fine, you can make that decision, but consult me to a degree to see if it's
I
something
think
we
you
can do.
should.
But that's the negotiation part now. Now we gotta talk and break
Yeah,
down what
yeah.
the
Why
bills.
why negotiation versus communication?
Because negotiation, because you have to see what can be done in a financial range. Everybody in the same financial place.
But that's still a conversation versus like negotiating. To me sounds like one of us is intentionally trying to win something.
It could be that though, right?
And I mean, but I think that
Or there may
that's
just
what you
be
know, like
experience.
I don't say it's a win because if you talking to a new employer, you doing negotiation, they try to win and bring you on board as a talent, and you trying to win by getting the job.
yeah, but in a parenting situation, like we both trying to
have the
win.
same
We
goal.
should have the same goal.
We want the best, so we still have to talk about what the ups and downs is on both ends. So that's why I said it's negotiation because it goes ups and downs on what we can do. We still have to come to terms.
We
You
do.
might be here, I might be here, but we got to find some way to get here. So that's negotiation to me. That's
So
what
Rico,
that's what
That's a man
Yeah,
stuff. That's
yeah.
a man stuff.
Yeah,
A woman would
it's
never
a-
use
yeah.
the word negotiation
Yeah, I have some
in that
sense, yeah.
situation. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, communication too, I agree.
Before you get, because I want to stick with this real quick. I've been closely, just a part of
The journey.
the journey, right?
I was 18.
And right, I met you when you was 18, right? And what was always interesting to me, because you was 20, like you said, you had Romeo, your first kid. It was always interesting to me because now you have 3 baby mothers, correct?
Correct.
Right? How you just navigated all the different situations, right, with different mothers and like, to me, I'm outside looking in still, even on there, but I'm not day to day, but the way you just went about it seemed like you were still a great father. Like, it isn't like it bothered you as much. So talk to the people about like what did it take for you to navigate those experiences so well? Like, was you dealing with a lot internally, you just insured, or were you just like kind of cool, calm, and collected? You're like, I'm a father, I just gotta do what I gotta do.
I take it to my father, man. Probably my upbringing with him.
That's good.
So I grew up in a 2-parent household, but my father had other kids before he got my mother. So I watched what he went through with with the child support system. My father one time he got put on disability, and on disability you only get so much money. Yeah. But child support was still taken from him. So
disability? I didn't know that.
I never knew that.
I didn't know that.
But my brothers and sisters were grown. Yeah. They were grown, like full grown. You know what I mean? So like they was taken from disability. So of course, if he's in a household, he's married to my mother, and my mother is going to work.
They take her money, right?
No, they didn't take her money.
Really?
But you gotta think about it from a support factor as a man.
So you're taking money from the house.
Yeah, it's coming out of the household. So having conversations with him over those years, kind of seeing him and then just having those positive figures in my life, I knew like I'm gonna be in my child life one way or another, right? No matter if the mother says what she wants to say, you don't want to be around right now, eventually a child's going to seek you out.
Yeah.
So I felt like in my mind, I always felt like even if me and the mother don't get along, eventually me and my child will get together and I'm going to give them the hardcore truth. The mother may not like it or however me, but I'm going to give them the truth. So
really,
I always took it as in like, I'm not gonna be an overzealous father. Like I'm not gonna like, oh man, I gotta be there. I gotta do such and such. Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna take it in strides. You know,
because naturally it's gonna happen.
It's gonna come with one another. Yeah. It's gonna come.
Because at the end of the day, like kids gonna want to be around their parents. Yeah. Mother and father. Yeah. So even if the mother raises the child, son or daughter, like they still want a relationship for the most part with the other parent.
If you have a boy though, their mother's gonna raise them, and they're gonna identify with their mother, but they ain't gonna realize like she ain't got the same parts I got, and certain stuff that's going with me that I can't talk to her about. They're gonna yearn for something with that man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So
it's relatability.
Yeah. So because it's the same, I always knew like, yo, eventually like. It'll come around if you don't want me to be around, you know, it is what it is. But I laid that out to them in the beginning, like I want to be there for my child. Even if I didn't want a kid. Now I will tell you that. I have said in certain situations, I ain't ready for no kids, I don't want no kids.
Wow, we talked about that before.
I know.
But how did you navigate that being away at school and being a father? Like how does co-parenting work?
That's different.
I can't even imagine that.
You 20, living your best life in college.
No, like 19, 20 years old.
So what we would do, probably Charlie may remember this, I used to go home every other weekend. I used to go home every other weekend. Okay. If I had papers to be read and things like that, I would do stuff in advance. I would free my weekends up.
Still graduated on time. That was good.
Okay. To be home with the baby.
To get to know me. Yeah. I want him to know me.
So when you were in college, I assume you were dating in college, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so when you were dating...
They know who they are.
I actually already knew the answer to that question.
Like you put peanut butter with jelly?
It's a sky blue.
So my question to you is like, during that process, were you letting them know like, yeah, you know, I have a newborn at home?
I did.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
How did you feel about that? Because I have a thought on that. Like,
how did I feel?
Yeah, like having to tell somebody like I have a child.
Like, do you feel less than, or do you
I don't think you
like
feel less than, but like right now at 36,
I did. You know, my girlfriend.
In college, that's early.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I had got a girlfriend like maybe like my son was born in October. I think I had a girlfriend by like November.
She knew at the time. Like,
I told her the kid come and told her. She was like, "Oh, that's cool."
You know what's interesting to me is like I think it's a double standard in those situations, and it works in the favor of the men because if you're in college,
some work in favor of us.
If you're in college and you're 20 years old and
we'll take that.
And you're a woman and you're pregnant
and you meet a chick and you're like, yeah, I have a son at home. She's like, okay, whatever. But if you're a woman and you say, oh, I have a baby, my baby's 6 months.
I'm pregnant and you like, and I'm trying to holler at you. You're gonna automatically assume I'm still dealing with
I gotta agree with that.
Like the guy's gonna be like, hold on, like,
I'm
not.
That's only if the guy like trying to be some like if you wanted to be something serious. If he don't know serious, he might not even care.
You're not even gonna believe me if I'm pregnant and I'm trying to holler at you.
Pregnant is different.
But you saying like she at home pregnant and you telling
she had the kid.
But you
were you talking about
you talking to somebody in the midst of her being pregnant?
Yeah.
And you gotta tell that person like,
you ain't tell him.
Oh, you ain't tell him. See,
now into the
now we here.
Ain't no point.
Now we here.
No point. What I'm telling you for? You might not be here next month. What I'm telling you for?
Jesus.
It's too much.
Okay,
we are talking about college years.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Keep that perspective here.
No,
Don't judge me. I'm talking about 20 on me.
Hey. Alexander's approach is a judgment.
It
Okay?
is, absolutely.
Okay. But I just want us to deep dive and get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, I wasn't sharing that information. It wasn't. I didn't feel like it was a need. If I don't feel like it's gonna be something that we're gonna grow into, or like now if I was talking to her and I felt like that was getting in the way, I'm like, I gotta share some news.
It's just interesting to hear from that perspective, though. To have a new baby at U.S. school and a new baby at home. I feel like chicks, they don't care. It's not going to affect them.
In the first 4 months, I was trying to get an abort, honestly.
Lord.
I'm just, I mean,
You being honest.
I'm being honest. I didn't want the kid at first. Like, I was 20.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah,
when you said,
I was 20. So the first few months.
She was 25.
The first few months, when she talking to me, my energy low.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
You thinking
I don't
about
want to
what
talk
you
about
about to
doctor
do in
visits.
college. Yeah.
Then once it's time to pass the point of no abortion, I'm like, all right, tell me when the doctor's appointment again, because I'm here now.
Now you're like, I'm here.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's so
fine.
crazy.
I can't imagine. I literally can't imagine. At 20, we was like,
Living
man,
our
we was
best
living our best life in college.
living our
So that's
I
like
was
a
not
real,
ready to be
that's,
a
right, a parent.
Yeah.
That's a big wrench in like your journey, your
But
plans.
that's how
like,
I felt though. So like I'm gonna tell you this. So when she first got pregnant and we were telling my parents the news, because we came together to tell my parents the news.
Good job.
Yeah. So like when we told them, my parents were so strong, and they said, you know, he gonna finish school, right? That's what their response was.
Really?
They said he's not gonna stop anything with school. He's still gonna go, and they said we'll help you or whatever's needed. You know what I'm saying? While he does this, but
that is some good parenting.
but he's gonna finish school.
25 is very different from
That
20.
is. So that's what, and I'm over here thinking like, as a
That's what I'm thinking,
36-year-old
right.
woman right now. I was 33 when I had my baby. I was very aware like of what I wanted, what my expectations were. I can't even imagine at 25 dating a 20-year-old and
Who's just starting college.
Even
When you're
trying to
sophomore?
think of him being mature enough to be where I am at that point. Like I can't even imagine what she was going through at that time.
Yeah, I just had to mature a lot faster.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's just what
I mean, no one's really ready, right? I feel like even at,
You're never
29,
ready.
I wasn't ready. But it's like, you just gonna get ready. You have no
want to.
choice. You have no choice.
Yeah.
Whether
a lot
you're
of people
16,
don't get
18,
ready,
30.
though, right? Like I just realized this year, and it's gonna sound real horrible, but as I talk to people on a day-to-day basis, and when we talk through like traumas and all of that, I'm just now realizing that there are so many women who are like not good mothers.
Really?
Like you hear
hear
often about like fathers
Yeah,
and what they're
more.
doing, but now when you talk to people as they get older, and they're like, man, I wish my mother had not done this, and I wish she hadn't been so controlling or whatever. And I'm like, and they talk about the traumas that they experience.
No, I agree there. I agree.
Man.
You know what's also interesting? Just because your mother take care of you or father take care of you, that doesn't make them a great parent or a good parent.
Yeah.
Because who knows what's happening in that
Exactly.
household.
And a lot of times you don't realize that until later on in life.
The reason why you don't know it is because everybody's still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So your parents, you might look at them like, man, they did a great job, and they was like, man, I was barely getting by. You're not gonna know the nuances.
Yeah, but you know when you're going through some stuff. Nah.
But the kids
that
actually
ain't
should
even
know.
okay.
So let me ask y'all this. So like you all both have like, children or a kid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have your kids come to your house, because neither one of you live with who you're okay. So when they come to your house, like are there different rules and expectations and things like that? Like how do you decipher?
I don't want it to be different rules, but you learn that it is different rules, right? So like in my house, he can't jump on the couch. He can't go in the refrigerator and drink the milk out of the carton. But there's times now where he come home and he jumping on the furniture, and I'm like, I know where you learned that from.
Yeah.
The moment that I saw him go into the refrigerator and start drinking out of the milk carton, I go to his father. I'm like, so you drink out of the milk carton? He started laughing instantly. So I know that those are things that he's learning from you. Now those are small things where you don't dwell on it and you like, you gotta stop doing it because X, Y, and Z. But then it makes you consciously think like, damn, this is this is real
lives.
It's going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
Over
and
time.
so now it's like we literally have to get together. And this is the part where like for the person that I'm co-parenting with, they're not used to being a communicator, right? So it's like certain things it's not talked about. It's like that's who I am, that's what I do, that is what it is. But it's like, no, when you think about how much of an influence we have on him, we have to get together and talk about like, when it comes to my house and your house, there are some things that we should be aligned on, right? Like it shouldn't be that when he at my house or home, he go to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock, but then when he at your house, he go to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Jesus, he's only
because he lives with me 2 years old. So right? Now it's like my day thrown off, my schedule thrown off. I'm the one who get up in the morning, get dressed, and take him, where he need to go for the day. So it's like I can't have him going to bed at 1 o'clock. But then now it becomes like this back and forth tug of war type of thing, and you really truly want to be in the space where it's like we really figuring this thing out. But then sometimes it's like, all right, I just gotta be like,
put your foot down.
I need you to back me up on this thing.
That reminds me of like, you watch your kid on a daily basis, right? But then that child goes to the cool uncle house, and they let them do whatever, eat whatever they want to do, go out, do whatever.
We deal with that all the time.
Right, we deal. But the difference is like
it's
y'all parent,
right? Like
right. The cool uncle can do that. The cool uncle, but like when it's a parent, now it's as the child get older, it might cause some like friction. Like, my daddy let me do it.
So I want to go to daddy house. I want to stay up until 2 a.m.
Right, that causes issues with like you raising your kid.
Or sometimes it's the reverse, right? When it's something going on over there and he like, nah, I don't want to go over there today. Like he can't tell me that, but he gives me signs of like, nah, today I ain't trying to go over there.
My son like that.
Really?
My second son is like that. He has days where I'm sure he be like, I'm not going over there because I'm more of this. I'm not saying his mother is not stern, but I'm like super stern. Like I had that old school style. Like you're not finna do this over here. You're not finna do X, Y, and Z. We just hit a few weeks ago, y'all. My kids over here with us, and all I said was, "Hey," and they they was like, like, but my kids all stopped in their tracks. Yeah. Right. I set those boundaries so they know, like, yo, when I say something, do what I say right now.
Yeah. He's actually said to me like, man, how do you get him to do X, Y, and Z? And I'm like,
which is surprising to hear a man say that about a little boy.
Because
I think like men with boys are like, the boys are not scared of their fathers, but they know like if my father says sit down,
they know.
It's a tone.
They shift. They shift here in a man's voice.
Sure.
For some reason, I don't know why.
It's certain things that, like, if he say it, he adheres to it. But then there's certain things where he like, well, how do you get him to sit down? How do you get him to focus on X, Y? I'm like, because I do it on a regular basis, right? Yeah. Because he's with me most of the time. There's just certain things that he's gonna gravitate more to because it's me.
So what has been the hardest thing about co-parenting? So if you could say one thing that has been a challenge, like within like those relationships with co-parenting, like what would you say it is?
I think I have multiple things. Like the first thing is like a generational curse type of thing, right? You never go into it, or at least I did not go into it. Like I said, I waited till I was 33 to have my first child, right? So you don't go into it with the expectation of not being with that person, right? Yeah. Like you really truly think that you're gonna raise your child in a 2-parent household, right? So now it's like, we gotta figure out how to make this work and co-parent, and then when we start dating again and we gotta like blend families, like
we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that.
It's so much. Then when you think about like there's certain aspects now, I'm like, damn, had I known that, I ain't gonna say I wouldn't have had a child, but it's like
I would have did things a little bit different.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah. What about you, Rico?
The roughest part, you said probably?
Or a challenge. Like what is like one of the biggest challenges with co-parenting?
I think communication probably was our biggest challenge. We had ill will feelings over certain things that happened, so our communication was like at a all-time low. So like if something was going on, even if she got to share the news with me, like, hey, your son did this, or your son, sometimes I'll be standing off like I ain't want to hear it, I ain't care, whatever. So it was because you know, but and then vice versa. Like if I say, hey, can you do such, I may get that same energy back. So the communication level wasn't what it needed to be, I felt, and I felt like over time we strengthened it because one, as a man, sometimes you gotta put your pride to the side. True. I had a lot of pride, and I felt like I learned over time I gotta put my pride down, and then sometimes I gotta let them get everything out. Like tell me what's the problem is. I'll try to help and I'll try to assist the best way I possible because the weight of what you take as a single mother, like even,
I was just about
and even just being not even just a single mother, even though you live with the child's mother like the mother still does more with the child. You know what I mean? So like I'm not gonna go into this gripe with you back and forth about it because like you right.
Doing your shit.
I'm gonna let you get your thing. Right. But from a pride standpoint, that's what I say kill the most. Yeah. As a man, kill the pride because it's gonna hurt you in the long run when you work with her. Like I said, she's the representative for the child until the child can speak for itself. Right. My kids are older now. And I don't gotta talk to their mom. Right. So that's the point of life I look forward to.
How do you communicate with 3 baby mamas? Mother
of my children.
Right.
Sorry.
There we go.
Yeah.
How do I communicate? I let them reach out to me if they need something.
Really?
Me and my kids talk. Okay. So you asked me how I communicate with them.
So you're able to communicate with them outside of the mother if you need to.
Yeah.
How was that before they could talk?
Oh man, before they talk, it was rough. Like it was rough because a lot of stuff that I felt like was being requested. Sometimes either I just didn't have it, I couldn't do it, or it was gonna hurt me in a way to why like my survival is gonna be at risk. And I can't explain that to somebody who's over there with a child and they trying to survive with that kid. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like my kids was young, so I was young trying to find my foot in the world. I was trying to get a good job and trying to do this, and I was trying not to go an illegal route and do like stupid stuff. But but that kid costs. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at the stats for a kid, I think I looked at something, they said when you raise a child is from age of 0 to 17, one child costs you $318,000. Right, that's what but that's what inflation. That's what inflation was.
80% is daycare.
Yeah, right. So
they outgrow.
Yeah, so from a standpoint of us as a culture, right? Us being of the melanated, the African descent, whatever you want to call it, like we already start off like at a low point, and then we produce a life. And we still trying to find footing. So we like each other, we love each other. However that goes when a child comes, I think those things is what make the shit separate. So like if you tell number one cause of divorce is what? Finances, right? Yeah. The same thing with fucking children. Definitely. Children are part of the finances. So
that's a major part.
So you got people that's arguing back and forth over I want this and we gotta do this because you got a dream for your child, right? The whole essence of it is for us to make this dependent, be as independent as possible without us. And
that's that looking different based on the parents.
Because I'll say so I went to church. When I was at church and the pastor was talking, he was talking about how like when you come into a relationship, y'all bringing 4 different instances. So the mother is bringing what her father and her mother either did or didn't do, and then you bring in what your father and mother did or didn't do, and then y'all trying to pile that, but y'all trying to pile it into one person.
Crazy.
So
DNA is real.
But you don't realize that though. So now, if you in the house, those still have clashes. You still things you don't like. But when you outside of the house, now the experience is that you ain't see what your shorty just did over. You wait till he come back. Right. Now you gotta play. You gotta be more. What's the word I want to say? You have to counteract it. You gotta counteract it.
I gotta intercept we ain't doing that.
Shorty did it 5 times over there the last 2 days.
Right.
Now he come home.
Right, and he confused.
And you gotta do it. But that's part of his development too. He's trying to learn himself and figure out his life. So I think that we try to ease the pain early on from them having to see separate stuff. Nah, man, the world gonna give it to these kids rough how they gonna give when they come adult. This is what your life is. We gonna
adapt.
We gonna teach you how to adapt, but we love you. Love is the biggest thing you gotta give them. We love you and we wanna make sure you're right, but don't do that over here.
But it's hard on the child too, like to for a child to have to go to your mama house, my mama house, your house, my house. It's so much. Like there's times where I know he's tired.
Here, Thanksgiving there.
On holidays, right? So now, he's 2, right? So the first 2 years, we've been able to kind of like, all right, we're gonna do Christmas together, right? But eventually, Christmas together is not a thing, right? So that's tough on the child. Like you want, because I know that there's
they
times
see it in other stuff. They see it on TV.
You see it on TV
everywhere.
Yeah.
But then, so let me take you this thing real quick. take y'all questions away.
No, you good. You good.
So
he
if
in his
you,
bag right
No,
now.
no.
Let's go, club.
Because now you say, okay, they had if you're trying to do a conjoint, like like a whole family order type thing.
Then we set a false expectation.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going with.
Exactly.
Like, so now it's like we still got to pull a blanket off one day.
Like, nah, this is my reality.
Hey, look, Tony,
that's confusing.
I can't stand your mom.
I don't understand. Like, I think, like me and Charles, like when I tell you tag team,
like why can't you just do it together?
Like when I tell you tag team, like okay, you get them dressed, I get the breakfast. Mm-hmm. You put the coat, I get the shoes, I get the lunch, I get like, and I feel like it works like that, right? And I know like situations are so different and you have to adapt. So that's why I always give it to the mothers. And not to be biased, but like you said, most of the times the kids are for the majority with their mothers.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like,
don't do that. We do the stuff that is like you don't want to.
But that's part of motherhood.
Like,
I mean,
it's a part of motherhood.
What you mean it's a part of motherhood?
Like.
See, that's.
Are you saying the co-parenting side or like
because listen,
in the household?
I mean, for the most part, the mother takes a lot of that pressure and the work and
we take a lot off of y'all. Let's be clear.
Do you not agree, Rico?
We take a lot off of y'all.
That the mothers take a lot of that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, before I moved on, I wanted to make sure.
I feel like ours is kind of even.
Well, we married, so we live together.
No, that's what I'm saying. Are you saying like just the co-parent or
I'm saying
in general? I just need to be clear on that.
The co-parenting.
Okay, yeah.
And I think in the co-parenting scenarios, unless the kid 100% lives with the parent, the one parent, like the father, which I grew up with my father. He took on a lot of those efforts and that work of all those routines.
I get it.
The majority of the time, that kid lives with the mother, and then there's a co-parenting type of thing with the father.
Yeah.
So I think like a lot of times, like there's one parent that usually takes on the majority.
Dominant.
And I feel like we struggle with 2-parent households. So it's like,
how
like
do you do
specifically
it
you, like,
how do you do it?
And I always think about your shit because it's like, that's a lot.
So, like, I don't want it to sound like, so I think typically when you say single parent, like, people automatically assume, like, the father ain't doing nothing.
No, he's
right?
there.
Like,
He's there.
He's definitely, like, present in his life, right? But, truthfully speaking, I do more, right? So, like, even when you think about the perspective of, like, the days that he does have him, right? It's different. So, when I get off work, I'm picking him up. We going back home. I don't have time. I don't get a nap. Yeah. I don't, I go straight into like, okay, we about to read. We about to do this. I got to make sure you potty train. I got to did you go to the bathroom? What you about to eat? And then don't let me have something else that I need to do or get done for work. Like, I got to put you to bed and then I'm staying up late to get that done.
Now I got to come do the
Alexander's
Approach podcast.
I got to do everything, right? Like, what time you going to bed?
Right.
But then when it's his day, right, and he from the perspective like he with me, so his daddy gets to do his thing. Yeah. You get off work, you get to go do whatever you want to do.
See, that would literally grind my gears.
Whatever you want to do when you get off work.
That would grind my gears.
Nah, it's part of motherhood.
And no. It's part of parenting, not motherhood.
So what? So I'm supposed to go live with you? What I'm supposed to do? I don't live with you. So you want me to do live-in things, and I'm not there.
You know, front half, right?
That's a good point because whoever the child is with, that you'll always do more, right? Because they're with you every day.
Yeah, so, which is why you got to be conscious about like.
What more can I do to support?
What can I do to support, right? So it's like,
what if you can't do nothing though?
But you can though. So when it comes to situations where it's like, make sure he brushes his teeth, because I've introduced him to brushing his teeth. All I'm asking is that you do the upkeep of it, right? If I'm introducing him to reading, read with him every day.
That's where the communication part comes in.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't want to be to a factor where you're still griping about getting up and doing so much.
It's not even about the gripe though. Okay. The gripe comes when he come home and I'm like, you brush his teeth today? And you're like, nah.
Man, I do that living in with kids though. Like I've done that living with my daughter's mother. Like when I've seen when she was like, she has told me like, did Ryan brush her teeth? And I'd be like, dang, she did. You know what I'm saying? Like that just because we don't live together don't mean it's gonna change. Like,
but I don't have more of the effort now that the baby
I don't have that, right? Yeah, so it's like
now the baby not there. So, let me go the extra mile.
I can't. So now not only do I not have eyes on what's happening, right? He come home and now I'm like, well, where the hell did that come from?
Exactly.
Yeah,
man, shorty, I'm gonna fuck up though from time to time.
And that's cool. and that's cool. Yeah. But at the same time, there's just certain things where it's like at least make a conscious effort to help me out.
Do I get kudos for that though?
Does she
Do I get
waking up
kudos for
every
being
morning?
a mama? Like,
Exactly.
You the one upset though. I'm not upset.
See, that's some bullshit.
That's the Risto's.
I got a question.
That is the stereotype of it all. Like,
I'm not upset
that
about it.
double
I got-
standard.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
You know, it might be more you, but
Okay.
how? So when you like y'all co-parenting, right? As the kids a separate household, but there's still some friction, or even you talked about this earlier. You might have like kind of doubled back with the baby mom or the baby father. How does that like y'all relationship and what y'all going through? How does that convolute like raising a child?
Tell me when you double back,
Yeah.
man.
And why did you double back?
It's good
Like-
sex.
I'm not gonna ask him anymore.
listen.
Like,
That's typical Rico.
that is so
Listen,
Rico.
I
Like,
ain't
but
Rico.
the sex was good.
The sex was great.
That's honest, right? Like,
Not that you was like really like, we just had a child and we want to try to make this work. It was like legit. Like,
I did feel like, let me go over and see my shorty. See my son.
help, send help.
You saw the video I put up with Corey Hogan where he was like, hey, little man, do a dance for me. I'm going to talk to your mama real quick. Like, I mean,
that's such a male answer.
No, that's
such a man answer.
but I still care for the women. Like I will say that I can't say I didn't care for my kids' mothers and shit like that.
Yeah.
I just wasn't at a point of saying like, yo, I'm finna get serious, shorty.
Right.
But when you
child.
Man.
But look,
I'm
but
sorry,
listen.
ladies.
No, listen. This is why I say don't blur the lines. Like I learned.
That's very smart.
Like I learned
Yes.
though.
Smart.
Like I learned. Like it was it made it rougher for me because I kept taking that part. When I removed that part,
Learn from Rico.
Change everything.
Right.
Learn from this guy.
You can always learn from Rico.
Man, it got so much smoother because we didn't really have that to like dictate nothing.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
you can't. A lot of men, I don't know if your kids' fathers like that. Men get upset about when the mother has to move on and start dating. And I've never been that type.
When those tables turn.
Yeah, I've never been that type though. So you have to realize, like, if you're not the one feeding the sexual desire, you need a break. You just talk about all the stuff you do with your kid.
Yeah.
You still got needs.
Yeah.
You still want to have sex eventually. So you might talk to somebody and it may get to that point, man, bro, you can't be mad because somebody else.
But I think that's a
feeling
double
the same
standard, right?
way.
So like I think, and I'm not gonna say for my child's father because we haven't even gotten to that point of having that conversation as of yet, right? But I think most of the times what happened is like if I'm a woman and I'm starting to date, right? Naturally you like, do I know what the nigga around my child, right? Like he can't call him daddy, and you come up with all these like rules and regulations. But then as a man, it'd be like, well, shit,
So
I'm dating.
that was actually
If you do what you need to do as a father, you gotta worry about the little motherfucker calling him daddy.
But that was gonna be my question though. Like,
No.
So when it comes
I've never had to worry about that, bro.
But when it comes to dating, right? Like what are the
I don't
stipulations
know if
to
I can-
allow?
I don't know if I can take that part.
What is the stipulations to allow someone
Somebody
you're
to be around
dating
your
or
child.
getting serious with to meet your child? Like I know you've been there.
Like I'm not there, so
I know you
like,
haven't been
I'm
there.
sure he's dating, right?
Have they met your son?
Not to my knowledge, right?
Right.
So, not to my knowledge.
Because Jackson can go over there and she's
And
probably just
she probably
chilling.
there,
Yeah.
right? So, but
We
we
can't talk that
Right.
much.
we've
Exactly.
had a conversation, right? That says like, all right, if we get to a point where somebody gonna be around, that we gonna tell each other,
We gotta have a
right?
conversation.
But like you said,
I mean, that would come back to it.
I'm trusting that he gonna
all
tell
my
me,
kids
but-
are snitched on me, all of them.
Really?
But I'm sure at some point it'll be like, well, daddy had somebody, or mama had somebody.
So what are your
over.
stipulations to have someone for them to meet your child?
My ask would be, because I can't tell him
Yeah.
what to do. My ask would be like, if it's somebody that you're not serious with and you don't see any future with this person, like
Don't waste the time.
What if he thought he did though and it just fell off just like y'all fell off?
we just had a whole conversation earlier where you know from jump whether or not
you did say
you
that.
interested in somebody.
you know
But you
long
could know,
term.
yeah, but you could know that and then some
you might
people,
like the person.
he not entitled to change his mind. People switch.
So no, I'm not saying like I'm just saying if it's somebody that you just met last week and you like shit, it's my weekend.
Oh no, I
with
wouldn't
my
let you
child,
know my shorty with that.
then
Really?
we're not doing that,
I wouldn't let you know
right?
my
Like
shorty
I
with
would
that.
hope that would be. But if you truly are feeling like it may potentially go somewhere, then I will hope that you would say that to me and be like, look,
Okay.
she's gonna be around.
Would you want to meet?
I would
her?
definitely want to meet her because I
Okay,
would want to know like what's your thought on children? Do you have children? Like how does she have? What's her relationship with her own children?
And do you feel comfortable enough for her to be
feel
around?
comfortable And I can't make him, do certain things, but I would hope that he would want to know those same things.
And right now, if that happened today or tomorrow, you wouldn't feel away because he's dating another woman.
Oh no.
Okay, it's strictly
about the
okay.
child.
Because it's not always that though.
He been dating other women like that.
My only issue with that is you saying, do it make you feel comfortable? What if he's comfortable with how things are? Should he shun her or put her away because you don't feel comfortable?
No. But so if you're that comfortable, then you should be able to come to me and say, like, this is who she is and this is why.
I want to meet.
But if I'm asking you and you lying about the situation, then that's like,
hold on. What if you meet her and you don't like her?
That's what I'm saying.
But he's like in a relationship. This is lady.
Then I'll have, like, if you truly, feel like this is
you
something,
put the trust in him.
I have to put the trust in you.
Yeah,
that's my biggest thing.
Trust and believe. Shorty go crazy.
Let me follow.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's a problem.
How was your
situation?
situation? Like, did you have any issues there, or was it easy for you for that transition?
What, for introducing somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough. Every single time it was an issue. I know, I'm serious.
Well, because was it like back-to-back bitches, Rico, or was it like,
Oh, no, it wasn't back.
Okay.
Don't do me on camera.
Okay.
We'll believe it, don't worry.
That might be like...
It's not, you don't have to.
Wait, another one?
It was
Another
not. You're on dirty.
Another one.
It wasn't like that. My situation then, it was like...
I told you people were invested in your situation, Rico.
But I didn't bring nobody in unless it was something serious that was around my kid.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I know when I want to get serious.
Okay.
I'm talking about the first month or two. Like I know I'm building to it.
Okay.
Like I'm feeling her.
Like I know, like yo, I'm finna shorty about
She about to be over here
every night. Like whatever character she's showing me, it's it. You know what I'm saying? So
that representation works.
Hey, come on.
I can appreciate somebody. I can appreciate somebody.
And if Rico is nothing else, this man is
honest.
honest. He's never not been honest.
I'll be like,
sometimes brutally honest.
I love people gotta hear the truth.
No, y'all, that's why it works.
But I'll be like, I'm not gonna like. No, we're not gonna do no kumbaya shit with my son.
Yeah.
But it might be something in passing, like like if me and you, let's say you my baby mama, and you come to pick the kid up, she might be over there. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that. So like if I'm saying you come get the kid, I say, hey, stop through here. My kid's mother finna come pick my kid up, but me and you can still go out because he about to leave.
Oh wow.
That's a situation that I used to kind of I worked that transition point like that. But I just think that's the only stipulation that I had. Like if I knew it was serious, I'm bringing you in.
Do you have a time limit on it though? Like, so if you dated somebody for like a month, are you like, alright, I'm cool with her meeting?
No, if I know I want you, shorty, and we about to be around, I feel like your vibe is
it's good.
It's cool. Now, if my child has an issue with you,
there's a problem.
Because that may be a problem that I'm gonna address right there.
It's interesting though, because as a woman, right, like. I'm a single woman, so that means like I live by myself with my son, right? So it's a lot of things that go into that. We coming in the house like, it's 10 something. By the time we get home tonight, I'm like, I'm on alert because we walking in late.
Yeah.
So when I'm dating somebody, or if I'm dating somebody, I truly have to think through, like, I think a broader list than what you have to think about as a man.
That's what I'm saying.
And then I would think for him as a co-parent, he really like, who is this man?
Yeah.
What is,
So let me tell you what I feel. I feel like women have to be super selective of who they come around because
I agree.
Some men can play roles, right?
Oh, yeah.
Temporary.
They give you the best character. You fall in love, especially if you have a daughter. Like you have a son, but I'm just saying, like you have a daughter.
Trust no one.
If you date somebody, your daughter goes through puberty. She's gaining breasts, ass, little things like that. And then as a man around the house, if you got a guy that's not the daddy, he's seeing this and viewing this, so you have to be cognizant.
But then that's on the flip side. As a mother, you're a woman, and my son has
same thing.
The same
I agree.
Thing, right? So I'm like, because just as much as men do,
I agree.
But they feel women do as well. So it's like,
so y'all have to
I need you to be just as conscious. It's not talked about, right?
Always the male
men always want to
gaze
think
on
that they have control over the woman that they dated. Like she ain't like that. I know it. Do we really?
But I think that's why it takes single mothers a longer time to really get invested into a new person. So that's why sometimes they go back to that baby father. That's who. I'm not saying that's gonna happen to you, but
I'm just saying I don't know that experience.
Yeah, I'm just saying I think that's what some do. It's a comfortable space. You ain't up in your body count. You ain't gotta go through the whole.
I mean, and I can understand that though because. Also, like you get to your child get to have two parents in a household, like that's love.
Well, talk to your
no, if it's done correctly.
Yeah.
If it's positive, because
Yes,
you know you
yes.
can be together and that's toxic.
Yes.
But if we talking positivity, like I can see why a woman would double back and be like, "Well,
I
look,
agree.
shit."
Look, man, my biggest point is this, man. Men have to kill their pride. You have to have an open line of communication to each other. You have to know that you're not always going to get your way, and sometimes you have to bend in a way that's not what you want to do. That's
a very good point.
That's what I'm giving you for my
That
17
sounded
years.
very experienced.
I'm gonna send this episode to my co-parent. I want him to pick up
To
on
my
that,
co-parent.
on that
Gonna get
situation.
that-
That's
a
a
really
post
good
that highlight clip.
Yeah, like I think that's
a
a
highlight
good point.
clip.
But what does it take for a man to kill his pride?
I mean, that's a whole other episode, though.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
I
just
think
saying, like,
like-
what? As a woman, I don't know what that looks like. How do you know when a man is killing his pride? Like, what do you
Can a
have
man kill his pride?
what did you-
Like
what
y'all
did you
think
say to
that?
yourself?
Can a man kill his pride?
No.
What did I say to myself?
Like, in general, a man can't kill his pride.
Y'all are men are very prideful.
I think we can, in certain instances,
To
we can be
everything.
mature.
Yeah.
Okay.
But pride in general,
think
you
men are
gonna,
very
It's just something that y'all
you
have.
gonna be prideful.
Yeah.
That's just who you are.
But I'm just saying, though, like, when you talking to your mother, your children, sometimes you're like, no, it's gonna be this way. I'm the man, I'm the daddy. Like,
Right.
that's what when I say
Okay.
pride,
Okay.
I say sometimes you gotta be like, no.
Swallow
You gotta
that.
let her have
Yeah,
it.
I ain't gonna say let her have it all the time. Sometimes you gotta say, well, what you want? You gotta explain why it don't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we do at work, seek to understand.
Yeah.
You gotta have a seek to understand.
Yeah.
So why don't this work? Why you don't like that? Well, I feel this way, and I think this way. Men hold emotions in and feelings in,
Y'all
so
do.
they
Yes.
don't talk enough. I learned I had to talk more. I used to be like, man, I'm just holding, be stern, be stoic, whatever. I have to talk more. I say, I don't like that. I'm gonna tell you why I don't like it. You want it to go this way? This is why I feel it should go this way. So what you want to do? Blah,
And
blah,
you
blah.
found out when you did that things got easier.
They got so much easier.
Wow. So you wish you would have known that.
This is,
earlier.
like, what you're talking about, and I think you've mentioned the word communication is like continuously to come
So
up.
good
right?
communication.
Yeah.
But this is not normal. This is like high level communication.
Right.
Right. Especially with multiple baby mothers.
And-
So
but-
like, you gotta make sure, like you said, this is how I feel about this child, this is how I feel about this child. You doing this, you doing that, and so like really always.
But
like,
I think so. One of the
voicing your
things that
thoughts
I
on
mentioned in the beginning was like I'm a woman of corporate America, right? So like,
Yeah.
and being in a position that I'm in corporate America, communication is all I do all day long, right? Like I'm always like, look, no, this is how you conduct yourself. This is how you move up. This is how you do this, right? So one of the things that me and my child's father kind of like always kind of collide on is I communicate a lot. And he's not a communicator at all,
You gotta
right?
communicate.
And so
Yeah.
he hates to have certain conversations, or he just hates to have conversations in general because he like
You gotta get comfortable
it
with
is
being
what it
uncomfortable.
is, right?
You literally have
And
Let me
so
tell you
it's
this.
uncomfortable.
Real quick.
You gotta get comfortable.
As a man, because you don't communicate and don't say your feelings and needs at times,
Disadvantage.
that's a disadvantage.
Yes.
And that's what leads to men getting put on child
It
support
does.
too.
It
Because
does.
if
Oh,
she,
we ain't
if
talking
she,
about that.
if
I
she,
really wanted to touch on that.
if she, yeah, we don't have no time for part two. Part two.
Part two.
Because I really wanted to get
We
the
need to be a
insight.
part
Yeah.
of part two.
Because I really
Listen.
wanted some insight on that.
But I'm just saying in general, like, if she's steady trying to open lines and she's steady telling you, hey this, who blah, 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 and you ain't giving it, that's sometimes that directs them to that route.
But then you know what happens? We get deemed as bitter baby mamas, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's not even about me being bitter.
Yeah,
It's if I'm coming to you and I'm
So-
saying like this is what it is, why can't we just have this conversation?
We're gonna be the first
so
part two on the
that-
Alexander.
Oh, no, wait.
Because
We
that
gotta
child support.
we
I
gotta
really
talk
want
to each segment, but I don't know. What you think?
Well, no, forget about talk your ish.
Yes.
Like, I do have a question.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like, and I really want to know, like, child support. And I know that's
yes,
a big deal.
we gotta
like,
talk about that.
We're gonna get to
Yes,
that.
bro.
Like, that's it. That hits very, like, close to home with me because, like, I was raised by my father.
Yeah.
He still paid child support for me, and I live with him
Yeah.
and grew up with him, right? So I think that's a very different
I hate
dynamic,
the
right?
system, so I'm
So it's
gonna
like
say my talk.
I really want to hear like you all's like take on child support. Whether you want to share if you're on it or the person's on it or
Look,
not.
man,
like,
I'm on it. I ain't sure you on it.
He's not on child support.
I'm on-
However, I'm not gonna say
I'm on child
that.
support with 2 kids.
It's
Okay,
not-
let's start with Lila.
So he's
Over
not
there.
on child support, right?
He's not. Okay.
He's not.
And that's great that he's.
I'm not gonna say it's great though, right? Because
him.
it's great for him. But he's not on child support. But I think the more that we get into like these tidbits, and it's like, man, I'm really trying to communicate, and you're not trying
Ooh,
to
that's
communicate.
tough. That's tough.
You become like you get to this point where you're like, okay, I can't do this on my own. I don't feel like I should have to keep saying he need. At some point, I just want you to kind of like proactively do it. But because he's not a communicator, he's not going to do those things. Now, I'm not saying like if I call and I'm like he need X, Y, and Z, he's not going to do it. but I already do X, Y, and Z. I'm already working 40 plus hours a week. I don't have time to be like, he needs this today. So I'm just buying.
So do you feel like,
I
guess
believe
goes
child
without
support
saying,
is,
you're not financially supported when it comes to being like a co-parenting parent?
I'm for sure spending more money. Like, again, I'm not saying that he wouldn't give it, but because I don't ask for it, it's not.
Just talk about communication.
One question for you.
Come on,
we let
Rico,
give
come
us
on.
dissertation. What question? Why haven't you put him on child support?
So somebody just asked me that question.
I don't know
if it's really a good answer to that, right?
It don't have to be good. I just want your answer.
So honest answer is originally because when you put a man on child support, you automatically get deemed as a bitter baby mama, or
that's
you're
what I was
looking for
wondering.
something, right? You initially go into it like,
that's stereotype.
I'm not gonna do that, right? Then I have an old school mother who like, don't do it. But I also have an old school mother who I watched be a single parent, and she carried. I ain't gonna say she struggled, but she carried the weight. I'm sure she struggled. I didn't know it. I didn't feel it.
That's a lot for a mother.
It's a lot.
Take that on.
So naturally, I'm like, if we continue to go down this path, that will be me. And don't get me wrong, like I make good money. However, as he get older, like I said, the shoes that he outgrow, the shirts and that stuff adds up over time. And I know you said communication, but like I said, there are times where I'm like, okay, he needs a new pair of shoes today. But then if I need to buy some tank tops, or I'm not asking for you to but you also know that your child is growing. So then if you don't know that, then that means you're not seeing him enough to know like, damn,
But okay, so Rico got the floor. Let's talk to you.
Rico.
Because you got a journey with this, bro. The child support.
Yeah, I'm on child support, and there's no negative thing towards it, but I don't agree with child support for somebody who
is active in
active in a child life and actually giving something to their child. So, like I talked to you earlier about like the poverty gap. I'm gonna take it back there again, right? Only reason why I say this is because the child support system is a money scheme. It's set up to give whatever you think you're gonna get to the mother, but
she only get a percentage.
They get a percentage.
20%.
Because no, it's not even 20% no more. I'm gonna tell you that the state of Illinois ain't that. They look at the mother's income and the father's income, so them rules have changed. But
really?
Look at him, you know.
Because I did an order. My first order was a 20% order.
What do you mean order? What does that mean for the people in the
So
back?
when you put a child support order, how it used to work is if you have one child, it's 20% of your income. If you have 2 kids, it's 26%. 3 kids, it goes up to 35%.
Like they garnish, or you have?
They garnish your
weight. Yeah, it does.
They garnish your weight. That's how it used to be. This changed maybe 7-8 years ago, probably. Okay. But they changed it. No. Yeah, if I said 8 years ago.
That wasn't paying attention to legislation out here. Good legislation.
So what they do now is because of how I guess men might have had certain situations, they look at what the mother's income is and what the father's income is. And they make a set amount for a split, like kind of like an equal split type of demo. So like if I'm on child support and I have to pay $1,200, they feel like the child expenses is $2,400 for the month. So $1,200 for me, $1,200 is what you give, $2,400 is what it's supposed to be equal to.
You think that's more fair than the
but how does that situation? What if the child is staying with the mother? So you said 12, so 20 for you.
So the percentage drops. So like if the child is staying with the mother, let's say you make less and I make more, I'm probably gonna have to pay more in child support to you.
What if the mother makes more than the father?
Then she's gonna get less.
Wow. Even though she's probably paying for the rent, paying for the t-shirts.
Each child has a certain level because they're paying for the rent.
That's wild.
You still got to pay rent. You got to pay rent. You know my child.
I get it. You still gotta be bringing money in.
That's wild.
You can't take 0 from 0. So it's based off the percentage of money you making. I kind of understand that.
So compared to what I know certain men go through with child support, I'm okay with my child support costs.
Let's make love.
I don't want no issues. Let that be known.
I don't complain. You know.
That's wild though. I didn't know that. So
look, my follow up for that is this. So you pay a certain amount, come on, every check, right? For two kids.
Right.
What's your thoughts when your child's mother reach out for additional money? Like, do you say like, nah,
that's a good question.
Or you be like,
depending on what it is, if I got it, I pick and choose.
Okay.
So sometimes I say no, and sometimes I say yes.
Well, your kids are older now.
Right.
So when they call you and say, I want these new Jordans.
Do you say?
I do it for my kids when they call.
Okay.
If my kids communicate with me and say certain things, I say, I can do it, give me this time, I'll order it, whatever, that's different. When you paying child support, you're gonna have to spend extra money because your kids are gonna ask first stuff.
Especially once they get older.
But that's the same thing that from a parent as a mother standpoint, right?
Right.
I'm gonna spend extra money because
you gonna have
with
to do
me,
it,
whatever. So,
so you don't say, "Well, I gave your mama
$1,200."
I have done that.
Okay.
I have done that. If I was in between, I'm not gonna be honest with you. No, honestly, it's too much. I'm like, your mama just got
$600 a month.
She got $900 yesterday. Ask her for the $12 for Roadblock. What you talking about? Like, it's a small thing, right?
Dear Jesus,
Roadblock. The Roadblock buck. What's called Roadblock?
Yeah, Roadblock. I'm just throwing that as an example.
But Club, you said earlier when you started the conversation, right? You said like, as an active father, I don't feel like I should have to pay child support, right? But prior to that conversation, when I mentioned like I shouldn't have to say X, Y, and Z, for me, right? When I hear active parent, I assume, and I understand where assumptions go, but as an active parent, I know what he needs, right? Because he's with me so much that I'm like, I can look at him and be like,
I get that, but like when my kid with me, like when you co-parenting and you non-custodial, you probably grab the crib on the weekends. You drive your shorty. Which is
part of the problem.
But you can't. But what else can I do throughout the work week if I'm working a job?
Well, what is she not?
She lives with you though.
Lord.
He lives with you though.
But she's working a job just like you.
Come pick him up more.
You work from home.
Now.
Come pick him up.
I had to get to that point of life.
Who makes who makes that choice? So we're talking about the court system, child support.
Jesus.
So listen, who makes that choice?
That goes back to what I said
like,
about the mothers.
What a kid stays at. So if the
court can make that decision,
right? But if the father isn't saying I want him in his share in my house, then who is it on to
look, we've had this not necessarily
where your baby daddy live in?
What you mean?
What do you live?
How far does he live from her?
How far do you live from
like maybe 20 minutes.
Okay, that's different. Everybody in that type of scenario.
Okay, cool.
If I live, like, I'll give you an example. My kid's mother lived in Tinley Park. I live in Calumet City. We had a discussion because my son plays sports.
Minutes.
That's about 20 minutes from each other.
Yeah.
20 minutes.
15.
Let me tell you.
I lived in Calumet City, worked in Tinley Park.
But I'm going to tell you this, though. If I'm at work, I'm not leaving to go take the child to...
What are excuses, Rico?
And he knows.
What are excuses?
No, this ain't in
I want to hear.
Man,
I want to hear what you about to say. You're not leaving what?
So listen. So my child plays sports.
Yes.
So my child had to go. The idea was to have him go do something. I think it was like in New Lenox or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
30 minutes. No,
30?
less than that, right?
30 plus the 20 to Tinley.
Maybe a little traffic, so we're going to give him traffic.
We're going to let this man speak.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'm just saying.
We're going to come off the defense.
Yeah, I'm not saying. This was a discussion we was having.
Yeah.
It wasn't an argument. It's part of communication negotiation.
Good job.
But the thing was, come get him from the house, take him to the football practice, which was Monday through Friday.
50 minutes. Because you're going to pick him up and then go to football in New Lenox.
Right.
50 minutes.
I'm going to sit and then I'm going to bring him back. But the spot from Tinley Park to New Lenox is probably a shorter ride from when, where you stay at. Mm-hmm. So my thing was, I said, hey, I'm going to help you. But I can't do 5 days.
I'm gonna help you.
I could.
Okay.
I want to. I want to hear more of the concluding statement.
The concluding statement is that
split it down the middle.
The concluding statement is that I said that this is what I can do.
Okay.
I can do maybe Tuesday through Thursday because my projects for work are done at this time. Blah blah. Like I had.
You have a legitimate.
I had that open type of ordeal, right? But then on top of that though, like my daughter stays with me, so.
You still gotta find time for.
I can't shun that. Yeah. So, in that scenario, it's like, like both kids got 3:30.
Multiple kids changes.
Multiple children changes.
Monday through Friday is a lot.
Yeah, I can't run do X, Y, and Z.
Because she has one kid, you have 3.
Right.
Or
but
because.
But that's what I explained to you.
3 in a household. In a household too is 3.
I have 3. Yeah. So I'm just saying in general, I used to say when you ask me for extra money. My check split 3 ways.
Yeah.
You get one payment. I split 3 ways no matter how you do this.
Yikes.
So when I say no, I can't do it, or I'm saying I don't have the extra do it. It's legit that but it's not her problem to worry about. I gotta do
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I got.
You just don't have the capacity.
That's what I'm saying.
Monday through Friday.
Now if we talking true capacity, then. You have to understand that, right? But if you don't if it's just like a
I don't want to do
I don't
That's
want to
different.
do
That's
it
different.
type of thing.
That's
Yeah, that's
different.
different. But your other question was like, how do you decide like who the child lives with, right? So I think the first argument that we got into as like co-parents was like, you a mother, so you gonna do more. You're obligated to do more. Huh?
You and him got that?
Like, and so I'm like, but you can step up. It don't have to be me.
He can.
Like, you can take on the majority of whatever it
He got to
needs to be.
communicate with you to say what's in range that alleviates from you.
But my thing is, like, at that point, we're not even talking
They
capacity.
both have one child, too.
We're just talking about the fact that I'm a woman and I'm a mother, and so you automatically give me the majority of the responsibility.
Like at his home.
We didn't necessarily have a sit down conversation like, okay, he about to where do we think he should stay? It was just an argument in general. We talking about something else, and it's like, well, as a mother, you gonna do more. And I'm like, what he say?
Come on.
No, it's good.
So yeah, it's like as a mother, we automatically get deemed as being a person who's gonna do more. Yeah. But as a father, you also have the ability to step up and be like, I want them to stay with me, or I want to have them more. And
I tried that. I was shut down.
Really?
I was shut down because sometimes they don't want to. That's their baby. You know how you just said you have that nurturing aspect. Yeah. Like you saying that, but like if we talk about like from Boys in the Hood, when Buddy was like, "Yo, Trey needs to come stay with me." Like I got to that point, I was shut down on the first instance.
That means you showed her something where she. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I didn't.
I ain't gonna say that. It was the fact that that's her only child. And waking up and not having your only baby there is.
I couldn't imagine that.
I cannot.
Oh my God.
I can.
So
that's why I give it to like parents who have to co-parent.
So I had to say okay.
That's why I asked how twist it is, because if in a court of law, that the advantage will always mostly go towards the mother.
And most of the time, men don't want it.
If you do,
that's what I'm saying. But what if the man doesn't want it though?
Then I think that's a legitimate
Sunday through Wednesday, right? Saturday. Let's talk about that.
If it's a situation where you I can legit come over there and see him every day, but I'm going back to my own crib. It's still me seeing him every day. I get to do whatever I want to do on a regular basis. But like I said, from my experience, most men don't want that scenario.
Yeah, most men don't. But
So just to kind of end it, this has been a great conversation.
It was a good conversation. It was a good conversation.
This was great though.
But it's I really just want to kind of end it with how important is it to make sure you make the right decision or invest in that decision of who you're gonna or could potentially have a child with. Do you feel with your experiences, would you change anything? Do you feel like there were things that you could have done on your end to make it better?
I think Rico said it earlier where he was when they, were dating, we legit cared about each other. I can't,
never know, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I went into it with somebody who, like I said, I was 33, so I was very conscious of who and what. So it was a conscious decision. I care about you, I love you, I feel like we could do this together. It just didn't pan out to be that way. So
and sometimes it doesn't.
That's what marriage is, and without, even without it. So my thing is this: I don't regret nothing. I don't regret none of my kids. I don't regret none of my situations. They were all learning tools and blocks for me to get to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
The growth that came from it, I might have grown to think the way I think if I didn't have those situations. But I just feel like over time, you can try to invest into what you think is going to be a certain way, and people change, because just like when you're in a marriage, y'all growing together, but y'all may have fell in love with each other at 26, but
now you're 36.
But the 36 version of you don't match the 36 version of you.
But also the fact that we love each other, right? When you bring another child in the situation, when you bring a child into the situation, although we love each other, I've never been a parent. You've never been a parent. This was both of our first child. So now, I'm sure in his mind, he's like, well, what the hell do I do as a father? As a man. So
how do I do this right?
Yeah.
And then did he? You don't know if he had his father, what trauma he struggled with,
or facts that played a part.
If he's still in college, still trying to just
trying to play the
field. Those are a lot of.
So it's just a lot of different nuances as your development as a person. I feel that end up actually just going into the situation with who you had the child with. And y'all just gotta learn to grow from it and kind of talk through it. When the kid get grown, man, y'all made it there. 18 is the finish line for me. Listen, baby, I
Wait,
can't.
I can't.
What's happening at 18,
can't.
bro?
Well,
He get out child support,
Right.
number one.
18, that was child support. We drink.
Wait, unless they go to school, right? If they go to school, don't
no. It's still 18, right? Did that change? It's always been 18.
Look, when I bought my house, they wanted my child support. They said the end date was this. I got to mark the calendar.
They can still hit you if they need something.
Right.
My kids, listen, my kids always call me. The thing is, like,
we're gonna have a party for you.
like Big Boy said, paying that child support is gonna make it rain every month on schedule.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be that way.
I never heard
Some,
that.
I feel like some things with kids fluctuate. Your kid may need something this week, and you may spend $200 on your child. Your kid may need something this week that costs $400.
Jesus.
Every
I
month
ain't
though,
ready for that.
but every month though, if I have to give $1,500 or $1,000, whatever, like he might even need that much at that time.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't really like the child support system.
Yeah, I can see that.
But my father told me this though. He told me just when I first got on child support, he said, just do it, you be done with it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, anything you give after that is considered gifting.
Yeah. But then if you're doing it with
at
someone
18
who is responsible, right? Like you would hope that if $1,500, if that's the case, is not what she needs in that moment, that's being saved, so that when she does need something
for that next month,
it ain't usually being saved though.
Yeah,
You might need a 15.
That's extra money.
You might need a 1,500 when he was 2, but you need 1,500 when he's 16. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why I say things fluctuate.
That's true.
So I don't like the system for that.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Who the money is all that money going to the
To
child?
where it's necessary.
They say
is it going to clothes?
Like,
part two, for real.
It's a few things we didn't.
Rent and mortgage is
But I'll say this: I appreciate that Lila and Rico are like really great parents. We're co-parents with our journey
and willing to talk about their
We'll
journey.
talk about that, share knowledge, like give some wisdom of like.
And I learned some stuff. Like I truly learned something.
Yeah, for sure. But because I feel a way being cool with somebody, comes to my family, whatever, friend, if they're not in their child's life. Like
we didn't even get to that.
Like I truly feel like I got a problem with you. I can't be cool with you. You
don't take care of your child.
You don't rock with your child. You definitely rock with me, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's dope.
A disclaimer: I love all my kids. Love as you
We all know you do.
You are great.
We all know you do.
Keep up the great work. Let's keep the communication lines open. And I wish.
Thank y'all for being
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all follow
Part 2.
Alexander.
Part 2 for sure. We definitely need a part 2
coming.
Man, this is great.
Make sure you continue to like, repost, comment, share, all those good things.
Alexander's approach, all that. Subscribe on YouTube. Again, we love our guests. Thank y'all for coming here and just doing y'all thing and spreading so much knowledge and wisdom.
Y'all got experience.
Yeah.
I definitely learned a lot too.
It's crazy. A lot of things y'all was talking about. It also applies to just
life.
But even when you with
the person,
Because like
it's just parenting.
Right, parenting.
Like, do you want to be on child support? Do you want to deal with the communication issues?
I got a homie who's married. He on child support and alimony. Hey, listen. Take the child support first, because if you get married, you got to go child support and alimony. My brother, your life is over.
Please.
I got a friend.
End the episode. Like, end it right now.
I never even knew that was a thing to do both.
Oh, alimony.
You got to be on
definitely.
both. And alimony don't stop until she get with somebody else.
And she won't because
She get alimony.
Get married.
we talked about that before.
Hey, brothers, the system is set up for us to lose.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, next time, part 2.